Hey guys, welcome! Star Citizen Alpha 4.5 went live last night, but the servers degraded so fast that merely 3 hours after, it became a somewhat unpleasant experience. And one of the major issues that I have experienced personally is at the ASOP terminal, which is already recognized by CIG, and a hotfix is on the way. Now, according to the hotfix note, on December 18th, 2025, today, we are currently getting 2 fixes ready for hotfixing today on 4.5 live. The first one is a hybrid service crash encountered on live. We'll have a hybrid hotfix later today, no client or DGS updates required, but will help with the most hit stability issue. The second one is one that I'm experiencing at the ASOP terminal. We have a service hotfix in the works to help with ships showing as unknown on the ASOP. This is a service change that will not require a client or DGS update. And this problem is super annoying. For example, I am at my ASOP terminal. The problem is for 80% of the time, when I try to deliver a ship, and it will go straight to unknown, and then you have to claim it again. But claiming it is not a workaround, because even after you reclaim a ship, for example this Eclipse, if I pay to expedite it, it became unknown again. And this Gladius too, when I expedite it, and then it became claim again, unknown. So 80% of my ships are experiencing this problem. A lot of ships I just couldn't use. So my advice is, before they fix this, just use the ship that you currently can be delivered. For the ship that's unknown, don't even bother with it. I spent so much time last night reclaiming, but doesn't work. That is why I say the experience for this patch is quite unpleasant so far. So I hope we can get a satisfactory fix for this problem soon, hopefully before the holidays. And for this video, I want to talk about and test ship weapons. Something I haven't found time to do during the PTU. I want to figure out what are the best ship weapons to use in this 4.5 engineering patch. Let's look at some numbers first. The SC Ship Performance Viewer has been updated to the latest 4.5 live patch. So if we go to items and then click hardpoint weapons, and under this list is every single ship weapon that are currently in game. And talk about ship weapons, the first important stats will be the damage, especially the alpha damage, ammo speed, rate of fire, and the range. If it's ballistic weapons, you also need to figure out the ammo count for that ballistic weapon. If you watched some of my 4.5 PTU testing videos, in the beginning of the patch cycle, CIG did an overhaul for all ship weapons. What they did is they reduced the alpha damage for each weapon by a lot. They also increased the ammo speed, but reduced the ammo range for almost every single weapon. However, that change has been completely reverted. So for the alpha damage, ammo speed, and the range, they are exactly the same as before, no change at all. However, what changed are these. First of all, the ammo count for all the ballistic weapons have been increased. For example, the Deadbolt 3. You can see the ammunition capacity increased from 250 to 387. The Mantis Gatling gun ammo capacity increased from 2,133 to 4,314 by 102%, including the MRX turret. This is the ballistic Gatling gun on the MDC. Ammo capacity increased by 200% from 5,000 to 1,500. And the Referral Gatling gun capacity increased from 2,000 to 3,567 by 78%. However, for the Ares Inferno, the ammo count is actually reduced by 17% from 3,600 to 2,994. I think this is the only ballistic weapon the ammo count has been reduced. And the Slayer cannon on the Nova tank, the ammo has been increased by over 600% from 40 rounds to 309 rounds. Wow, this is insane. For a little tank, you can carry over 300 rounds of the railgun ammo. Sledge 3 mass driver cannon, the ammunition increased from 70 to 102. And the Shredder, the size 3 ballistic repeater, ammo capacity increased from 1,167 to 2,589. And the ballistic Gatling turret for the Super Horny Mark II Heart Seeker, ammo increased from 1,550 to 5,250. Wow, by 200%. However, the Medusa cannon as well as the Maris cannon for the Polaris and the Perseus, there is no ammo amount increase. So they all have 900 rounds just as before. But the Destroyer mass driver cannon on the Idris M, the ammo capacity has been increased from 500 to 1,500. But this doesn't really matter. Has anyone ever finished using 500 rounds on your Idris M railgun? I rarely reach below 400 rounds. One more weapon, AD5B ballistic Gatling gun. The ammo count increased from 1,800 to 5,004. So yes, the increasing amount of the ballistic ammos is a good thing for this patch. Now, next thing for all the ship weapons that we need to consider is the ammo penetration. I also did a video recently describing in detail what exactly the ammo penetration is, even though the data has been changed. But the concept is exactly the same. So a quick recap. This diagram shows when a bullet hits the surface of the ship or the hull of the ship, at the impact, here will incur the near radius, the first blue circle. And then this bullet will keep traveling inside the ship. The traveling distance is called the base penetration distance. And at the very end of that penetration distance, another circle will incur, and this will be the far radius. So this is called the cone of penetration or the cone of damage. And this cone of penetration will determine how effective your bullet is to damage or even destroy the ship's components, especially the power plant, in order to render the ship combat incapable. So first, let's compare all size 1 weapons. We're gonna click the base distance and categorize it from the highest base distance to the lowest base distance. Also, as a general rule, that the weapon that has a higher base penetration distance will always have a better near and far radius. So the shorter the base penetration distance, the smaller the penetration radius. Now, these are all the size 1 weapons. I just reorganized it by the base distance. If I slide to the left and look at the type of these weapons, you don't have to look at the name, just look at the type. You will see that the cannons, whether it's ballistic cannon or laser cannon or distortion cannon, they are above all other weapons like the Gatling guns, repeaters, or the scatter guns. And this is the same for size 2 weapons. You can see cannons is listed above Gatling gun, repeater, and scatter guns. Size 3 is the same. So for this patch, this is the rule, the cannon rules. But of course, you also need to consider the alpha damage, bullet speed, and the range. So disregard all other factors just by looking at the penetration value alone, the cannon rules. Now, let's zoom in. Among these cannons, you can see the ballistic cannon are listed before all other type of cannons. And for the plasma cannon, I'm not exactly sure what weapon is this. Maybe this is for some NPC ships, but definitely this is a Vandu ship. So this cannon has the highest base distance. And after that are the Sledge 1 mass driver cannon, 2.52 base penetration distance. And the radius is this. Afterwards are the 3 other ballistic cannons. And they are basically the same. 9 series longsword, Tarantula, and Deadbolt 1, 1.98. And afterwards are the sucker punch cannons. So the distortion cannons is right after the ballistic cannons. And after that are the laser cannons. I am surprised that the laser cannons, the penetration is better than the ballistic Gatling guns. So these ballistic Gatling guns are right after the laser cannons, 0.66. All of them, they are the same, including the laser repeater buzzsaw and the MRX turret, the point defense cannon. And then right after that is the NDB repeater, penetration 0.6. And after that is the ballistic scattergun. After that is the distortion repeater, and after that will be the laser repeaters, including the attrition. Attrition is the same as the CF repeaters, and including the laser PDC, the M2C swarm. So this is a general order of the base penetration distance for the size 1 weapon. For the size 2 weapon, the Sledge 2 mass driver cannon and the Strife mass driver cannon has the highest base penetration distance. And then will be all other ballistic cannons. And the third place will be the distortion cannon, including the distortion cannon on the Vanguard. And the fourth place are the laser cannons, 1.2 meters penetration distance. And the fifth place are all the ballistic Gatling guns and ballistic repeaters. The sixth place is the NDB repeater. And the seventh place will be the ballistic scattergun. The eighth place will be the distortion repeater. And the ninth place will be the regular laser repeater, including the attrition repeater. And the last place will be the laser scattergun. Now, for the size 3 weapons, I think this is the same order. The first place is the Sledge 3 mass driver cannon, 6.3 base distance. Wow. And the radius is 0.32 and 0.63. The radius is not great. But of course, this is only size 3 weapon. Second place are all the ballistic cannons, 4.95 penetration distance. Third place, distortion cannons, 3.15 distance. And the fourth place is the Singe cannon. This is a bespoke weapon on the Banu Defender. Penetration distance 2.6. And the fifth place are all the laser cannons. Penetration distance 2.25. And the sixth are all the ballistic Gatling guns and ballistic repeaters, 1.65. The seventh place is the NDB repeater, NDB 30 for the size 3, 1.5 meters. The eighth place is the ballistic scattergun, 1.32 penetration distance. The ninth place is the distortion repeater. The 10th place are all the laser repeaters. Penetration is only 0.75 meter. Very low. And the last place will be these laser scatterguns, 0.6 meter. That's it. And also with very low penetration radius, 0.03 and 0.06. It's basically scratching the surface. But of course, the scattergun is like a shotgun. It has high alpha damage, but only scratching the surface, and that makes sense. So these are the size 3 weapons. Now, size 4, we don't have the mass driver cannon anymore. So the first place will be the Deadbolts and the C788 cannon. The C788 cannon was quite ineffective in the previous patches. Let's take a look at the alpha damage for this one. I hope they changed something for this gun. So the alpha damage for this right now is 325. It's half of the Deadbolt 4. The rounds per minute is also half, only 50. Speed is 900. And the range, however, is 6.5 kilometers. Yeah, this gun deserves a test. The ammo count is 270. This gun, in the beginning when they released it, is really good at destroying components. However, this gun right now has almost no difference in terms of the ammo penetration compared with a Deadbolt 4. The base distance, 6.6. Near radius, 0.33. Far, 0.66. And afterwards are the laser cannons. 3 meters for the penetration distance. Afterwards are the ballistic Gatling guns. Relentless, Breakneck, and AD4B. The Breakneck. This is the ballistic Gatling gun on the Shiv. Take a look at the ammo count for this gun. 10,500. Wow, that's insane. And the next place will be the Salvation Distortion Scattergun. Penetration distance 1.12. Afterwards will be the laser repeaters, including the attritions. And then the last place, to my surprise, is the Heartseeker ballistic Gatling gun turret. We saw earlier that this gun, the ammo count has been increased to over 5,000. But in terms of damaging ship components, it's quite ineffective because the penetration distance is not even 1 meter. And the near and far radius is even smaller. Alright, size 5. The first weapon is the Slayer Cannon. This one is the main gun for the Nova tank. Take a look at the base distance, 11.55 meters. And the near radius is almost half a meter. Far radius is over 1 meter. However, this is a gun for a ground vehicle. Is there a way to use this gun in space? Where there is a will, there is a way. I will test that gun in a video. The next weapon will be the Leonidas Cannon. Same as the Deadbolt 5. The Leonidas Cannon is the cannon for the RSI Meteor bespoke weapon. The base penetration 9.9. Near radius half a meter. Far radius almost 1 meter. So can't wait to test this ship as well. Afterwards will be all the laser cannons. And then the ballistic Gatling guns. The NV57 ballistic Gatling gun is the gun module for the Nova tank. It's the same as the AD5B. But the base penetration distance is not great and the radius is not great. Even for a size 5 weapon. And also for the size 5 laser repeaters, including the laser scattergun. Their base penetration distance not great. Only 1.5 meters. And the penetration radius is even smaller than other size 5 weapons. So not going to be super effective against components, especially bigger ship components. Now, size 6 weapon. The useful size 6 weapon in-game is the Maris Cannon, which is the bespoke cannon on the Polaris. Base penetration distance 9.9, almost 10 meters. Pretty good. The radius is between half a meter to 1 meter. So very decent for this gun if you want to use it against components. And that's the only size 6 weapon that we can use in-game. That's it. Size 7. Conqueror 7 on the Idris. First of all, let's see the ammo count for this. 800 rounds. Nice. However, the speed is quite slow. 850. The ammo penetration distance 23 meters. Radius is between 1.2 meters to 2.3 meters. This is going to be very decent for damaging and destroying ship components, especially for bigger ships. The next weapon will be the Ares Ion. This is a laser cannon. Base distance 10.5. Near radius 0.53. Far radius is 1.05. Very decent by the look of it. This is exactly the same for the M9A cannon on the Idris M. However, for the ballistic Gatling gun on the Inferno, it's actually worse than the Ares Ion. So base penetration distance 7.7. The radius is not great. 0.4 meter to 0.8 meter. Now, size 8. the Medusa cannon on the Perseus. Ooh, this is even better. Almost 30 meters for the base penetration. Near radius 1.5 meters to almost 3 meters. Size 9, I don't think we have any ship for it. Size 10, this is the last weapon. We have two. One is the mass driver cannon, the Idris M railgun. The base penetration distance 50 meters, near radius 2.5 meters to 5 meters. For this gun, I tested in my latest video yesterday I made, and it is indeed quite effective. I was using it shooting a Polaris with a few railgun hits. I have successfully destroyed some components inside the Polaris, and the Polaris caught on fire. Eventually, the Polaris got disabled, and I was able to board it, even though I was burned to death by the fire inside the ship. But the railgun is quite effective. However, they've nerfed the firing mechanics for this railgun. So if you want to know the details, you can check my previous video. The second size 10 we can use is the Exodus-10 laser for the Idris P. The base penetration distance is 30 meters. The radius is 1.5 to almost 3 meters. Wow, this is going to be maybe even more effective than the Idris railgun because the laser beam is a continuous firing beam. Instead of the railgun, you can only fire it every 20 seconds or so. So the laser beam deserves a test. So that's the vertical comparison for all ship weapons according to their size. However, if I want to do one last comparison by the ballistic cannons, because ballistic cannon has the highest penetration value, and I'm gonna categorize it by base penetration distance. Now you can see the Idris railgun is number 1, the first. The second place is the Medusa cannon, the size 8 on the Perseus. And the third place is a Conqueror 7 cannon for the Idris. This is from the Idris T kit. The fourth place is a Slayer cannon for the Nova tank. The fifth place is the Maris cannon for the Polaris. And the sixth place is a Leonidas cannon, the one for the Meteor. And the seventh place is a Deadbolt 5. Eighth place is a Deadbolt 4, including the C788. And the ninth place is a Sledge 3 mass driver cannon. And then the rest are all the other size 3 ballistic cannons. Wow. So definitely these cannons deserves detailed test. So this is an overview and comparison of every single ship weapon for this engineering patch. And with this comparison, we are now very clear about what is the best weapon in terms of their penetration values. So the best weapons are the cannons, the cannon rules. And the higher the sizes, the better the penetration value. Of course, you also need to consider the alpha damage. But guess what? Usually the cannons has a better alpha damage. But of course, lower rate of fire. Alright, for the rest of the video, I want to test out this Idris laser. This is a Gilead's number 8 mission, so we'll be fighting a Polaris again. I am getting hit by the Polaris over there. Ready my laser. Let's go. Fire laser. The shield is going down really fast, as you can see. Red now. And shield is down. 5 seconds. Okay. Hitting the components in there. Gonna shoot that area. That's where the power plants, all the major components are at. Good hit markers. At the very rare of the Polaris is the quantum drive. Maybe I can destroy that first. Now, so far, I still think that the Idris railgun is more effective. You can see I'm not able to destroy any of the components yet. been taking a while already. But when I was testing the Idris railgun, a few hits, I caused a fire inside the Polaris. Actually, strike that. I think the shield generator is down on the Polaris. It's not recovering shield at all. Yup, shield generator been destroyed. Taking its size 6 offline. And taking its engine offline as well. And oh, you can see the ship is red. Whatever components right here, I am damaging it. Oh, never mind. Just straight killed it. That didn't take long though. Gonna try this on the Corsair. Try to damage its component. Oh, wow, that killed it really fast with a laser. So the solo Idris is still a thing. Fire on the Corsair. And killed. Whew, 5 seconds. So, yep, solo Idris is still a thing. And still a very good thing.